Wow. A little bit of a bumpy start, but you get the gist. You get the gist. I have some friends in high places, and they have some friends in low places, something like that. But what a fabulous, fabulous introduction. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you to my friends Garth and Tricia for that great introduction. They truly, truly are passionate and great friends of Habitat for Humanity. They're not only great friends to me, but they are great friends to Habitat here in New York City. They built with us in 2013, and they build with us around the world. Just a side note, if you are at all a fan, you can actually bid on a Garth Brooks designed guitar in the auction alley right now. It'll be personally autographed by Garth and Tricia and delivered to your front door. So if you happen to be, if there are any Garth fans in the house, please visit the auction alley. While we're talking about being grateful, I want you all to know that I'm so grateful to you for being here, and I'm so very grateful to the sponsors of tonight's Habitat House Party. Their names will be appearing on the screen throughout the evening, and of course they're in the printed program. But I want you to just, if you could, join me in giving the sponsors of tonight's event a big round of applause. We could not do this important work without them. So wow, the big gist is this, the big gist of my announcement tonight is I've just finished my first year as CEO here in New York City. What a year it has been, and what a privilege it has been. I've been with the Habitat organization for close to 17 years, but this is close to 16 months in New York City. And this is our first, air quotes intentional, gala in some years. Now, it's a bit of a return to the event space for us here in New York City, and it's a little bit different. When we started talking about coming back into the event space, we started talking about something comfortable and homey, and basically somewhere I could wear my boots. So I think we've ticked all those boxes. It's not a gala so much, as it's a house party. So I hope if you look around the room, you'll see that there are several VIP lounges with some of our sponsors. It's a little bit different. They're all hosted by Habitat ambassadors who are here to help you find your way around this space and solve any of the technical glitches that I understand we had with Givergy, and really just help you get fed and watered throughout the evening. So please find somebody in a Habitat tool belt. That should be easy to do, and they'll be here to help you. At Habitat, we have been at work in New York City for 32 years, for a little more than 32 years. Now, if you're a New Yorker like I'm a New Yorker, and I'm a New Yorker now, right? You hear a lot of chatter about affordable housing. There's buzz about it here. From the mayor's office, throughout all of the media, you turn on the radio, you hear affordable housing, affordable housing. The catch is, many times they feel what they're talking about is really affordable rental. And what we're talking about at Habitat is affordable home ownership. But wait, affordable home ownership in New York City? Wouldn't that be kind of an oxymoron? Is that even possible? Does that even make any kind of sense in New York City, home ownership? Well, at Habitat, we know that it does. We believe that hardworking New Yorkers deserve their place on a path towards financial stability that ownership supports. Ownership makes sense for the bus drivers and teachers and police officers who live in and dedicate their lives to this city, but can barely afford to keep a roof over their heads. Or we could alternatively just shrug our shoulders and accept that New York City is destined to be the highest profile gated community, or I guess maybe in our case, moated community, in the nation, where really only the privileged few can live behind the castle walls, and others travel in from farther and farther afield and make the choice to live in unsafe, unaffordable, substandard, or overcrowded conditions. At Habitat, we say, not on our watch. Our unique model provides a hand up, not a handout to these families. They are true partners in this effort. And we have 10 families with us here tonight, I am very proud to say. We are getting the work of Habitat underway is no small task, to be sure. Our funding comes from a combination of government support, generous philanthropy, and investment in the families themselves. We're so grateful to our partners at the city and the state, some of whom are here with us this evening, for their commitment to providing much needed funding and tax relief to our families. Indeed, of course, we're grateful to you, our incredible donors and supporters assembled right here in this room, for the important role that you play. Did you know that 85% of your philanthropic dollars go into programs right here in New York City? That's a pretty extraordinary statistic. 85% of your fundraised dollar goes into the houses that we build in this city. Importantly, again, as I said, we're thankful to our Habitat partner families themselves, 10 of whom are in the room with us tonight. They are true partners in this effort. They bring their own funds to the table. They repay interest-free or low-interest mortgages towards the construction of their homes. And it's because of partnerships like this tonight in the room, because of the families' partnerships, that we have more than 250 affordable homeownership units in our pipeline right now. And that's in addition to more than 400 homes that we have to date. And that's amazing. So what does 250 home ownership units look like exactly? In Queens, it's going to look like 23 single-family homes that'll be rebuilt from the remains of abandoned structures, dormant and dilapidated for decades, and blight on the neighborhoods they occupy. In Brooklyn, it's going to look like several multifamily co-ops, much like our Ralph Avenue project, which is a scale model of which is being built in the room tonight. And in the Bronx, perhaps the jewel in our crown, it looks like Sydney House, a 57-unit co-op, the largest multifamily development in the Habitat universe right here in New York City. Thank you, everybody. And most importantly, for 250 hardworking New York families, those 250 units are going to look and feel like home. Now, 250 all by itself, that's a pretty lofty number, but that number doesn't include nearly the total number of individuals and families that we touch every day, not even close. You see, building only new construction in New York City wouldn't be practical or even possible. We're increasing our focus on our preservation work, meaning that we're going to try and reserve and preserve the stock that we already have in this city. Our very first project in Manhattan will ensure that several low to moderate income co-op units remain safe and affordable for future generations. That work is complemented by what many of you already know as our Brush with Kindness, extending our work beyond homes to stabilize and revitalize community spaces. Building and preservation is at our core, centered on what we are perhaps best known for, though, volunteer engagement. Did you know that in New York City, we mobilized over 5,000 volunteers in the past year, and we're hosting 50 to 70 volunteers a day across 5 sites, 4 days a week in this city right now. And those volunteers are performing safe and meaningful work towards the construction projects that we undertake, and they're loving it. If you haven't come out to volunteer with Habitat lately, I encourage you to do so. You're going to be surprised and delighted. So much of what I've spoken about already tonight is kind of what you know about Habitat. The image of volunteers raising walls on construction sites. But at Habitat in New York City, we're so much more than that. I like to characterize our work in New York as 2 sides of a house. On this side, sort of our classic Habitat volunteer work, we build, and then on this side, we build for increased impact, really trying to get more numbers on the board, serve more families more quickly. Some of these projects might be less volunteer-focused, though not completely volunteer-free, and they'd meet the goal of really getting people in their homes more quickly. We're a home ownership developer on par with others in this space. There may be a few other things you don't know about Habitat's work in New York City. Did you know, for instance, that we have a very robust youth engagement program? We have programs in place that engage the hearts and minds of children from school age through young professionals and emerging leaders. We also have a program that engages at-risk youth, providing them with unique experience that will build leadership and construction skills and strengthen their futures. Engaging tomorrow's leaders matters to us. And innovation matters to us too. We're constantly looking at ways to generate new lines of business to help drive our mission forward, to strengthen our bottom line, to reach more families and engage more New Yorkers in our work. Many of you might already know the Restore, the Habitat Restore. We have one in New York. It's in Queens. It's a home improvement store that sells gently used or new donated furniture, appliances, and building materials at a fraction of the retail cost. All proceeds support our work, and there's a great waste diversion, positive environmental story at the Restore as well. With innovation as our running theme, and for the more sophisticated housing geeks in the room, and by the way, if you're a housing geek in this room, you're in good company, we're on the path to creating a CDFI, otherwise known as a Community Development Financial Institution. And this will provide us an opportunity for Habitat to strengthen the affordable housing sector across the city by making small loans to developers, co-op associations, and others, enabling us to serve more families than we would be able to serve on our own. We're also exploring mechanisms to protect our investments that we make in affordable housing tonight for the needs of future generations. So with another nod to the housing geeks in the room, we're moving forward to create a community land trust in New York City. This will ensure that the investments we make serve families for years to come. So again, we're both. We're what you think you know about Habitat and what you didn't know about Habitat. We're simple and we're complex. We are who you think we are, and we're so much more. Ours is an amazing city, one of great cultural diversity and of great opportunity. At Habitat, we're building a city where all hardworking families can not only survive, but thrive. We're building a city where everyone can have a decent place to call home. We're using our voices and our hammers to advocate for policies that will create long-lasting opportunities for generations of New Yorkers to realize the American dream. We're building brighter futures for children who are better prepared for school and parents who are better prepared to succeed in the workplace. We're committed to building a better New York. Thank you for being part of this incredible work. Now, each of us at Habitat, whether new to the organization or more experienced, has a role to play in this success. We are richly blessed to have so many dedicated partners and supporters. But for an event such as this one, two names rose to the top of the list. Two gentlemen, both of whom have made it their life's work to impact the community in which they live. They work in very different worlds, but they are committed and exemplary in very similar ways. It is my privilege tonight to be able to honor these two especially important individuals and to introduce the first of this evening's honorees. Please help me to welcome Habitat New York City Board Secretary, tonight's event chair, and my friend, Martha Parrish. Martha is a semi-retired art dealer. She now serves as a curator for a well-known American